Greetings and salutations, this is Emperor Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello.
We have some Persian horse archers to show you today. Standard Persian cavalry. These guys were 10 a penny in the Persian army. And probably the rank and file of the cavalry arm, just normal horse archers. Armed with an axe, which would be quite useful in combat, I would assume. But I don't think they would actually have ever gone into close combat. I wouldn't give them much chances if they did. But they were mainly armed with a bow that can be fired from the back of a horse, which is always useful because it means you can run towards the enemy, fire your arrows, and then retreat very quickly before the enemy can do anything about it.
Yeah. The Romans hated that.
Yeah, it bugged the Romans. The Romans didn't like that at all. They preferred you to get really up close and personal so they could stab you to death.
Yeah, pretty much. This is why they hated the
Parthians.
Yeah, that's it.
These are basically the same people. In fact, you could use these as Parthian horse archers if you wanted to. So when we get down to doing Romans, we're using them as Parthians. There's actually no difference.
That's the difference.
What? Oh yeah, the Persian flag. Yeah, didn't really go into proper flags, did they? Sort of a bit of wood with a painted board on it.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
Sort of, hey, look at this. This is me. I'm doing well. Please note it down and tell the God Emperor. Yeah, that's basically how battles went. So you wouldn't really use these in close combat. You would use them for hit and run attacks. You would use them to harry the enemy.
Like the film in versus the Spartans, and the Leonidas picked up the horse and throws it.
They were Persian. They were immortal cavalry. So they would actually try and get up to you and stab you, usually with a spear. Usually the sort of javelins and stuff.
You think immortals had like guns?
Why?
Well, because if they're immortals, they should have their best weapons, the best type of machinery you could ever get.
Yeah.
Instead, you give them normal, ordinary weapons, just like the rest of the army have.
Yeah, it would take about 1,200 years until the gun was invented, or something that could approximate a gun was invented. And even then, they were rubbish really until the turn of the last century. I mean, a musket itself was pretty naff. You have to get hundreds of muskets, thousands of muskets together to shoot 3 or 4 Frenchmen. It's much more easy.
One.
Yes, because we didn't do that. We just walked up. Well, we would fire constantly until the enemy got close enough, and then we actually killed them with swords. Unlike the lying films where we used rifles, we actually used swords. But who cares?
Yeah. What?
You never see people fighting with swords, except in Sharp, where the officers fight with swords. All soldiers carried swords. A short blade.
Waterloo movie, they all have swords.
Yeah, it's a short blade. It's actually like a Zephon, a Greek Zephon.
It looks like the one from what's that film called? Kingdom of Heaven. And he wakes up on the beach, and the guy challenges him. And he's out with his sword, puts it on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Looks like one of them swords.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah. So these cavalry would have been used, as I said, to harry. In your games, you're not going to be using them in close combat. Don't do that; they will die. In any rule system, they will die. The good thing about them is they can evade. All light stuff evades, and evasion is the best way of dealing with Greeks. Do not get into combat with Greeks. Try and evade as much as possible. One thing the Greeks hate, and that's light stuff, light infantry, light cavalry, because they just move away from the Greeks, and the Greeks can't get to grips with
You
them.
can't fight the Greeks, and just go around them.
Yeah, which is what you're supposed to do. Yeah, doesn't tend to work out though.
You'll go around
Because
them,
the Greeks-
burn down their city, and then they surrender.
No, they don't though. You burn down their city, and they destroy your empire, and then meme you constantly.
That's why because Xerxes was a
And write
really...
history books about you.
It's because Xerxes was a really bad commander, okay?
I don't don't think Xerxes was a bad commander. And I think he had some bad commanders under his command. Although...
So Xerxes' plan, send all your men to one gate. Fantastic plan.
Yeah.
Don't go around it, just go head on.
Oh, they tried going round. The fleet sank. A lot of the troops that they actually drowned at sea the day before the battle.
Why do you need to invade Greece?
I don't know, ask a Persian, no one knows. The Persians just seem to just get this idea that they needed to wipe Greece off the face of the earth. I don't know why. They own the whole world. I know there's nothing there. I've said this in another video, I know I have, but after the Battle of Plataea, when the Persians were finally defeated, and the Spartan king, the Greek, Athenian commanders, the Plataean commander, all the commanders walked into a Persian tent, and it was full of golden plates, and there was food everywhere, and all this stuff, beautiful gold, diamonds, and shiny stuff. And the Spartan king said, "What on earth were they trying to? Why were they invading us? What were they trying to steal from us? Our poverty?" Because they couldn't believe the Persians were so rich and Greece had nothing. There was nothing there worth taking. There was no reason to invade Greece, other than the fact that the Greeks took the mickey out of the Persians all the time. And the Persians didn't like it.
Well, just get siege equipment and just blow up each city as you go past.
They levelled Athens.
I'm not talking about Athens.
They're leveled.
Sparta. If they lose Sparta, the Spartans just go home.
Well, Sparta's evacuated. Anyway, there's nothing in Sparta to burn.
Sparta.
They didn't have cities. They didn't have... They had really, really naff houses with no roofs.
Just sink the fleet
They
then.
were rubbish.
Just sink the fleet.
Well, all 17 ships. Yeah, they tried that. The Greeks destroyed the Persian navy. Because the Greeks were really, really, really good sailors and really, really, really good soldiers. And the Persians, although they had Greeks on their side, they...
Light the ocean on fire.
Yeah, that was also... That's been tried throughout history and it doesn't tend to work. It tends to set your own ships on fire.
Board their ships.
Yeah, there's a problem with that. Do you want to know the problem with that? Greek ships were equipped with 60 to 100 rowers, depending on how big the ship was, and 4 hoplites. Because you couldn't have any more than 4 on the top deck, because it would turn the ship over. Right? So 4 hoplites manning every Greek ship. Mm-hmm. Guess how many marines an average Persian ship had?
100.
40. So you're not far off, really. 40 marines on the ship, and they were rowed by mostly slaves. Right? So the Persian ship would go up to fight, and it would get close to the Greek ship, and the Greeks would shout, "On deck!" And all the rowers, who were civilians who worked for the navy, right, who got paid to work, they were really good at rowing, they did it for a living, and they loved their country, all ran on deck, and in the middle of every Greek ship was a pile of stones. All the length of the ship.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Listening? And the Greeks would pick, every single man who was rowing would grab a stone, or grab 2 stones, run up to the top deck, and throw the stones at the Persians. Right? And then they would go back down and man the oars.
Ram them.
Okay, ramming. Ramming's a problem. The Athenians had specifically built rams. They did nothing but ram. They were very, very small, light ships with a huge ramming prow. And they were extremely manoeuvrable. And they could actually ram sideways. They could turn sideways and ram. They were really good. And they had no crew at all. They just had the rowers and nothing else. But the big Persian ships, the big Greek ships, what the Greeks do, they throw these stones at the marines. Right? And then the hoplites board the ship. And half your marines are already dead at this point, because you've just got a stone in your face, because the best you've got is a wicker shield. And the Athenians, or whatever the Spartans are, sorry, whatever the Greek hoplites are, they get on the ship and they kill the remaining guards, and then they free the rowers. And Athens has a new ship for its navy.
Throw javelins into them. Just go to the side of them, get javelins, and throw out hoplites. All hoplites go down, then the civilians surrender.
hoplites have a hop-on shield. Apis.
You can't defend from every single angle.
You can't
On a
attack from
moving
every
ship.
single angle. You're on a ship, you know where the weapons are coming from.
We have more than one ship.
Yes, the Persians have way more than one ship. The Persians completely outnumber the Greeks. So what the Greeks do, they get the Persians to all crash into each other, turn it into a huge sort of
I wouldn't be that stupid.
Yeah, you wouldn't be, but unfortunately the Persians were.
You just line them up. You let the Greeks come to you.
Yeah.
So that was their plan in the first place.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. You just sit there. The Greeks go inside. You just crush them.
But that's not what happened.
That's what you should have done.
No, because the Greeks pretended to run away. The Greeks told the Egyptian ships and some Corinthian ships actually to run away, and the ships started sailing away, and the Persians said, "Oh my God, the Greeks are breaking up, they're fleeing, we better attack now." And of course the fleeing ships turned around and went into the sides of the Persians went forward into the Athenians rammed into them, and it turned into a huge mess, and then the Greeks just walked around the decks of the ships killing Persians at will.
How can you be that stupid?
Actually, Queen Artemisia was commanding the navy at that point.
How can she be that stupid?
I don't think she was. I think she was just taken by surprise. I mean, she didn't want to fight the battle in the first place. She said we should not fight.
If I saw ships fleeing, I would just let them flee. They'll come back eventually.
Well, their orders were to track down the entire Greek navy, unless they were allowing ships to.
Well done. You found the navy. Your orders weren't to eliminate the navy. It was to find the navy.
Yeah, you've also got a problem with your own Persian ships deserting and joining the Greeks.
Well, then you just prove to them that if they do that, you just shoot them.
In fact, during the last battle, some Persian ships actually changed sides during the battle. They had a terrible problem keeping people on side.
Maybe if you weren't such a horrible empire, it would work better.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd buy that one. They were particularly stupid when it came to dealing with Greeks. Sorry, but this video was supposed to be about cavalry and we've ended up going off on one again. That's your fault that time, it's not mine. Can't blame me. Right, questions about the cavalry?
No.
No, well we've already done the other cavalry, there's not really much else to say about them, is there? No? That it? Interesting point, a lot of these would have come from northern...
Because you know bows.
Yeah, alright, back to that.
Fire bows.
Yeah.
No. Light
No.
the arrows on fire.
No.
Shoot them into the ship.
Oh, no. Alright, you put fire on the end of an arrow and fire it. What happens to the fire? When the arrow's flying through the air really fast, what happens to the fire?
It diffuses.
It goes out. Right, now tell me about fire arrows again.
Arrows.
You fight normal arrows.
Just shoot arrows into them.
Now, the Romans used chemical arrows, which were chemically powered. Well, not chemically powered, but they could actually technically light on fire through chemical processes. But fire arrows no, it's not. It's just fake. It's just films. Don't worry about it. As for firing real arrows are useless. You are on a moving ship, right, which is bouncing around in the water. These weren't.
A crossbow.
Only the Greeks had crossbows. The Persians didn't use crossbows, and the Greeks didn't like crossbows.
I give up. I give up. Just jump on them.
They tried that as well, but that doesn't work because the hoplite ships are 10 foot higher. The Greek ships are 10 foot higher than the Persian ships. You can't physically get up the ship, and they've got a big spear they can stab you with. They're also fully armoured, and you're wearing pyjamas. Yeah, the Persians are really stupid. But theoretically, the massive Persian navy would make people immediately surrender, but not when you're facing Greeks, because they just don't care.
Well, at the point of the battle where the Greeks are all boarding you, just build a wall of dead bodies
and use it as steps.
To them.
Just use it as steps to climb up the Greek ship. Yeah. But yeah, the Athenians built a fleet of 30 very, very large ships, triremes. Most of the Persian navy was biremes, 2 decks of oars. A few of the Greek allies to the Persians had triremes. The Carians certainly had triremes. But the Athenians built these triremes for war, entirely for war. So they were kitted out for combat, whereas most triremes were huge cargo haulers. Or they were tow barges. They weren't for combat. Because they were too big to manoeuvre.
Get a bunch of oil and pour it on top of them.
Again,
And then drop a match.
yeah, that works. It doesn't work. But, fire ships, brilliant weapons. But, yeah, you need the right
That's
circumstances.
just bull.
There was a battle during
Am I
the...
supposed to fight this?
there was
I'm going to play Persians.
look, any rule system is going to benefit the Persians.
Well, that's fine.
Because it's not going to face real life.
That's fine,
Because
mate.
even if you need a 6 to hit, the chances of winning are much higher than in real life.
Fine by me.
But
Killing one will be satisfying.
yeah, just as long as you can kill one Greek, it doesn't matter. Sorry, that threw me that. There was a battle during the in China during beginning of the Qing dynasty. Big naval battle.
Taiping.
No, before Taiping. There was a battle between the two groups who wanted to take over the throne. There was a naval battle, and one lot lit fire ships and sent them into the enemy. And the what?
Yeah, we do that. We go our ships,
Yeah.
set it on fire, and ram it into the Greeks.
Yes. There's a problem. The ships were blown by the wind back into the other fleet, and they actually set fire to their own fleet. So they actually burnt their own fleet, and the enemy fleet didn't even weigh anchor. They just sat there and watched as the enemy burnt themselves to death. And then they won the war, so that was quite easy.
Not talking to you anymore.
That's just a thing. They actually won by sailing rafts across the river, not using the boats, to get troops on the opposite side, and then they fought a line.
You can throw shields on them.
So you shielded them.
Well, no, I'm not supposed to know.
That's not going to work out.
They only have wicker shields.
Yeah, you throw your wicker shield at them. Maybe it'd be like a fan. You could just fan them with it so they cool down, because it's quite hot fighting in the sun.
You get people that jump into the water and stab the bottom.
To swim underneath the ship and try and saw a hole in the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah, during the War of Independence, the Americans tried that. They had a submarine, a wooden submarine, and the idea was it was called the Turtle, and the idea it would saw holes with a drill in the enemy ship. Eventually, the ship would sink. That was the first idea they had with it, and then they came with this idea of just putting a bomb on it and just sticking the bomb to it.
Yeah, we'll do that. Oh, we invented bombs yet.
We haven't invented bombs yet. No, sorry.
Catapults.
No. What?
Have we invented catapults yet?
Yes, catapults and crossbows. The Greeks used them on their ships.
The Greeks used them.
Yes.
What about the Persians?
Because you fire it into a Persian ship, roll the opposite way,
What
and it
about
tears the
Persians?
front of the Persian ship off.
What about the Persians?
The Greek allied ships would have had them. Yes.
Persians.
Yeah, the Persian allied ships would have used them. Yeah, certainly the Carians and the massive.
You keep backing up and throwing catapults at them.
Yeah, you could fire 4 shots and shoot the 4 hoplites off the deck.
Yeah.
So it'd take you a bit of time, and you're going to be shot at. And yeah.
No, they keep going back.
So you're going to row backwards. That's your tactical plan.
Yeah.
You really are little Themistocles, aren't you?
And then as soon as they think that we're retreating, boom, right into them.
Right. So that's the end of the video, I think. Outro?
If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe and comment down below what you think of the Persian cavalry.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from him.
Goodbye.